Today's businesses are accelerating the adoption of a future ready data foundation, where AI is becoming the primary tool that removes barriers and enhances data accessibility, accuracy, and timeliness. As more companies tackle enterprise AI projects, many are running into issues. IT leaders are finding themselves overwhelmed by the sheer amount of data available. And there is a clear need for strategy and guidance around modernizing applications and obtain access to the most reliable data that can help an enterprise expand its business opportunities and achieve long term goals. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to one more podcast with Analytics Insight. This is your host, Rangoli, and today I'm in conversation with Naveen Kamat, Executive Director and CTO, Data and AI Services, Kyndryl India. And here we are to talk about how Kyndryl is enabling organizations in India and across the world to adopt AI and automation as a part of their digital transformation journey. Welcome, Naveen. It's a pleasure to have you here with us today.
Thank you, Rangoli. Great to be on this forum.
So let's start with telling our listeners a brief about Kyndryl and how is it enabling organizations in India and across the world to adopt AI and automation as a part of their digital transformation journey.
Sure. Kyndryl is one of the largest infrastructure services providers globally. And as part of Kyndryl, we have focuses around various practices, applications, data and AI being one of them. And as part of the applications, data and AI practice, we are working with clients globally around their digital transformation initiatives. One of the ways we engage with clients is around helping them with their data strategy and helping them define what the right architecture should be in terms of being able to enable newer use cases as part of their digital transformation journey. One of the ways we lead with is what we call the data fabric architecture that supports data integration across various source systems and ensuring data flows across the enterprise from the point of data creation to the point of data consumption, right? We are also helping our clients with establishing a data operations framework, which basically allows them to manage their data quality, data governance, data lineage requirements from an end-to-end perspective, and also in terms of managing their ML lifecycle with various ML ops solutions, which helps them with exploratory data analysis, performing feature engineering, helping them build models and also deploy them in a way where they can be integrated with the digital workflows within the organization. So that's broadly, different ways that we are engaging with clients globally in this space.
Okay, that's very impressive, Naveen. Thank you for giving our listeners such a comprehensive introduction about the company. So, as they say, data is the new oil. On that note, could you tell us briefly why is data essential for competitive success today?
Sure, the competitive advantage really comes in when data is used to drive breakthrough insights that are humanly not possible, right? Either in terms of the sheer volume and complexity of the data to be processed, patterns that can be discovered, or the velocity with which decisions need to be taken or actions need to be recommended. The good news is that with all the advances in computational power or storage technologies, and also in the space of artificial intelligence, whether it is in terms of large language models or computer vision AI, use of transfer learning or generative AI techniques, and so also various pre-packaged libraries that are now available for deep learning ML models. The realm of what falls within the art of the possible is expanding rapidly, right? A lot of auto ML solutions today are available that are also lowering the entry barrier in terms of skills that are needed to build an AI-based application. Now, while there's a lot of focus around AI, it's also very critical that without the right data foundation, it is difficult to scale the adoption and application of AI. It is important to harness data that is being generated both within the organizations as well as from beyond. And you need to enable seamless, secure data flows within the organization. And the interesting thing about data is that if you can get to a curated set of data assets and data products, good data can be used repeatably with an multiplier effect within the organization. Right? So whether it is for enhancing customer experience or mitigating risk, be it for gaining, orders of magnitude improvement in productivity, or optimization for greater efficiencies, or be it for expanding or adding newer revenue streams. So that's essentially, I think, the competitive advantage that one can gain out of data.
Absolutely, Naveen. Data is the foundation and it's the highway to access AI insights that can inform businesses' decisions and solving businesses' problems, if I'm not wrong.
Absolutely, yes.
On that note, could you tell us how do organizations go about building a successful AI and data framework?
Yeah, certainly. So Rangoli, like I was mentioning earlier, I think scaling AI begins with having the right data strategy in place. The biggest impact is when you have cross-functional teams with a wide variety of perspectives within an enterprise coming together and putting in a collaborative effort, prioritizing business goals with various time horizons, and prioritizing use cases that need to be addressed. Right. So once you have that, it becomes easier to define the target architecture, define what kind of data pathways need to be enabled within the organization from the point of where the data sources reside to the point of data consumption. As I was mentioning earlier, it's also important to have the right data ops framework to manage the data lifecycle with areas such as data observability. So you can essentially have reliable and good data being delivered to the downstream users. And then, of course, having the right framework from a ML ops standpoint to ensure we are able to deliver insights with the right time to value, and are able to do it with total integration with downstream workflows within the organization. Right. One of the key things I believe that is very critical also is to focus on the people aspect as you go down this journey of digital transformation, right? Particularly from a data literacy standpoint. So within the organization, there's awareness about various data security, data privacy, data access considerations. It is also important to establish data stewardship, kind of roles across lines of businesses. So there is ownership and accountability for the data that is being made available across the enterprise. Right. The other thing that I would also mention is that skills and talent to manage all of this can be a challenge, but that's where service providers like Kyndryl can play a major role in terms of not only bringing the end-to-end data engineering services with a strong partner ecosystem, because there's a whole range of technologies in this space, but also in terms of technology differentiators, whether that is in terms of assets, accelerators, or IP that can be brought in to basically manage data environments with a level of simplicity and abstraction that can help make this whole transformation more accelerated.
So, I believe, as you said, initially it all depends on data quality, data foundation, and data strategy. And on that note, could you share the challenges you witness across sectors and the key solution that can help businesses overcome them?
That's a great question, Rangoli. So one of the some of the typical challenges that we see in implementing successful data and AI initiatives is that there are multiple data silos within any organization, and integrating data across these various systems, some of them are legacy systems, can be a significant challenge, right? In terms of getting to the single source of truth or the most recent version of truth and some of that. But besides that, there's also one of the challenges has been the delayed realization of value from data and AI investments, right? Time to value, time to insight can be excruciatingly long, and by the time that realization happens, the original business case that supported that whole investment might have shifted in terms of its time value and some of that, right? So that's a part of a challenge. And then skills and talent, as I was mentioning, is very scarce, particularly when it comes to areas like data engineering or data science. And we have seen organizations struggling with some of that as well. Now, yeah, I mean, in terms of how we're looking at the space in helping our clients overcome some of these challenges, we're looking at simplifying the data operations. We're looking at how do we abstract all of this complexity that lies underneath, and not just by bringing in a level of integration, but also areas such as activating all of the metadata that exists within the enterprise, right? So, for example, if there is a data incident or a schema drift, can we bring in artificial intelligence to look at why this data incident happened, or even proactively be able to predict some of these data incidents or schema drifts, but also be able to tie it to the upstream or downstream impact that some of these incidents might be having in terms of business impact, right? And being able to recommend an alternative data flow if the business impact is very severe, then can we recommend an alternative data flow so that the job gets done and the impact is circumvented. So broadly, it's about bringing in intelligence, bringing in orchestration, using all of the metadata that's available within the data environment of the client, and being able to deliver reliable data within time to the downstream users so that there's not much impact and a lot of time is not wasted in getting to reliable data. So that's the whole data observability and data reliability play that we are leading with. So that's briefly what I would say about this.
Well, absolutely. Thank you for such a detailed answer. And now I'm sure our listeners would want to know some successful AI deployments in India. So, could you please brief us on that?
Yeah, sure. We will not be able to take any specific names, but we've engaged with various organizations across industry sectors. Some of the work that we've done is with the integrated health major, where we are basically looking at how do you bring in various data attributes, various logs, telemetry data, and all of that to predict the health of the pharmacy applications for that particular healthcare major, right? So, for example, if the pharmacy application is down, then it can basically impact the availability of medicines, critical medicines, in severe cases, particularly availability to the ICUs and some of that, right? So how do you predict the health of these pharmacy applications, take corrective actions, detect anomalies, all of that in advance, so your pharmacy applications do not have any major downtime. So that was one of the use cases that we worked with. Besides, there have been multiple other use cases that we've been working with healthcare clients around. In the space of manufacturing, we worked with major manufacturing companies, which one of them was a glass manufacturing company which had around 40 plus plants. And the work that we did there was to create a more next gen data platform on the cloud for them, which basically allowed them to bring in this various IoT data, sensor data, data from various SCADA, PLC systems from the edge, from these various plants into this cloud data platform. And with all that data coming in, now it was possible for this client to start looking at various different use cases like predictive maintenance, just-in-time inventory, reducing wastage, which was not possible with the brownfield data estate that they had earlier. Also, in the space of in the financial sector, we are looking at using some of these more latest technologies like drone tech to kind of collect data on, let's say, soil quality or various location-based analytics that can help quickly determine credit risk scores in the agri loan kind of business, right? Because the time to dispersal of these loans has to be fairly quick. And how do we sort of apply technology, apply AI to improve the speed with which credit risk scoring can happen? One of the universities also that we are working with locally is, and this is in the realm of research, is how do you apply AI in the space of additive manufacturing, where we can basically using sound and visual quality, visual imaging, we can look at the quality of the rapid prototypes that are being developed, which then can again, speeden up the whole process of rapid prototyping, which again is a fairly significant efficiency driver in the whole manufacturing space, right? Is a big theme around smart manufacturing in that context. So these are some of the projects, some of the deployments that you're working on locally in India.
Okay, well, that was very insightful and comprehensive. And that brings me to my next question. So, Naveen, what are some of the industries where you expect to see major traction for Kyndryl's AI and automation solutions?
So we are actually working across various industry domains, and we are seeing requirements come in from healthcare, manufacturing, banking, various and retail as well. Particularly after the pandemic in healthcare, what we are beginning to see is newer set of use cases such as remote patient monitoring and personalized recommendations gaining a lot of currency. In the finance sector as well, it is becoming very common to provide targeted services based on customer segmentation. Another very key angle that is coming in is assessing credit or investment risk based on newer factors such as sustainability. Right. So if you look at major enterprises today, sustainability is not just a good to have agenda from a regulatory perspective. It's also becoming an essential imperative to ensure adequate capital flows and embed sustainability into your business model. So a lot of our use cases that we're seeing today are centered around sustainability KPIs and how do we measure them, monitor them, having the right data architecture to basically address some of those use cases as well.
So, definitely, Naveen, we can see that there will be a time in the near future where each and every industry will have to utilize these emerging technologies in order to stay in the game. So, lastly, Naveen, any skilling initiatives or upskilling strategy for Kyndryl engineers in the AI and data practice that you'd like to touch upon?
Yeah, certainly. At Kyndryl, we see our practitioners in this domain broadly aligned around data engineering or data architecture or data science or as data and business analysts, right? And for each of these job categories, there's a clear roadmap in terms of skilling and career growth, defined training and certification requirements. Major area of focus is also around skills for delivering projects in the hyperscaler cloud environments, because a lot of our projects gravitate towards those. And with the very structured skilling and training plan, it helps our people broadly reskill or upskill themselves in this domain. So that's how we are looking at it, Rangoli.
Well, that's very insightful and wonderful to know. And thank you so much for such a comprehensive answer, Naveen. And that brings me to the end of the podcast. Thank you for connecting with us today, Naveen. It was a pleasure to have you here with us today on the podcast. And I must say, it was very insightful, and I'm sure our listeners enjoyed the interaction as much as I did.
Thank you, Rangoli, and privileged to be on this forum.
Definitely, and I believe for our listeners as well. And I would appreciate if our listeners watch this space for more. And don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you with another great interaction. Thank you.